and welcome to the Saudi Tourism Authority podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Headley-Hymers, and I'm joined today by Paul Stevens, who is the COO of Premium Midscale and Economy Division for the Middle East and Africa and Turkey for Accor.
Correct.
Did I get that name
yeah,
right?
Perfect.
It's a
and
long
that's a mouthful.
title.
That's a mouthful, Sarah. You did very, very well.
So thank you. You're here today to talk to me about Accor products in Saudi. So let's start with your current portfolio. What do you have?
Sure. So at this point, open and running 45 hotels in Saudi, and they range from the capital cities to secondary and third tier cities, and of course coming into some of the giga projects which will be coming up into the future. But what we see is a huge demand, and that demand's grown particularly since 2019 when leisure guests were formally welcomed for the first time.
Yeah.
We see both leisure and corporate growing. A lot of adventure tourism, and that sounds a little strange, but what people are doing are going, I've heard there's something going on in Saudi, I want to go and see what's going on. And even some of the second and tier third destinations that we go to, primarily for work, but also to experience what's going on and what our clients are seeing. There's people out there, sort of Americans, Europeans, adventure type people that want to be the first ones there. They want to see, they have that mantelpiece experience. So I was really surprised when we got off the beaten track how many people were actually starting to explore, which is an area not that easy to get to yet, as far as information and things, but I can see the future, second and third tier destinations, and that's not to mention the historical sites. Being really, really attractive for many travellers, not just coming in, doing your corporate business and getting out the same day, but we're seeing that. So because of that, we see the businesses and some of the hotels that we have already existing in those destinations doing really, really well. So we're really happy to see that, because everyone's talking Riyadh, they're talking Jeddah and Giga, but we're actually seeing, and we're there and we're doing well there, really, really well. We're actually seeing business really grow around the region, not just in the capital cities.
Yeah, people are getting out and about now, aren't they?
Absolutely.
The word is getting out about places to explore.
Absolutely.
What brands have you got in that? Did you say 45?
45, correct.
45 hotels. Which brands?
So primarily for us, we've got Movenpick, which is always very, very popular in the Middle East after its European roots. Swiss Hotel. Great Swiss hotel living in Jeddah, super busy, doing fantastically well after just 2 years in the market. Novotel in Riyadh, so that's really taken off well. Ibis, of course, our stock standard best economy hotel in the world, sits in a number of locations there. So all those brands are performing really well. Handwritten, we're introducing, which is more of a dynamic boutique style.
I haven't stayed in a Handwritten
yet.
Tell me a little bit about that brand.
The interesting thing is that unless we take over hotels, it takes a little while to develop them. So usually we get the first best in about 2 or 3 years after we introduce a product. But having said that, we have 11 around the world right now. So it's a really nice feel. It has a story. It has a handwritten story, I guess, like the name suggests. So it's warm, it's comfortable, it's well hosted. They're generally not huge hotels, and they fit into like heritage locations primarily. But
nice.
so it's got an interesting personality. Most definitely, boutique-y, fits in a lot more places than some of our better known brands, but still privileges itself with all those distribution systems that we can add as a big company can, and that awareness of, okay, I feel comfortable and safe and everything's going to be okay because I'm in a global brand. So really nice mix of both, I think.
I met quite a few tour guides last week when I was in Saudi, and they call themselves storytellers.
Yes.
And I love that idea that they're there to tell the story of Saudi, so I can picture that brand fitting in very well with the tourism offering in Saudi and how they're developing it and the character that they're giving it. So I'll have to come and stay in one of the handwrittens.
Fantastic, love to have you.
So that's 45 across Saudi at the minute. What's in the pipeline?
So 41 as we sit here. So we're basically going to double in the next 4 years. So we say 3, the developers say 5, so we get find somewhere in the middle. Some will pick up more, some will pick up less. So we'll basically double in the next 4 years, which is great. A lot of that product is also premium and luxury and lifestyle. So we've seen the development of Saudi really being hinged on the luxury and lifestyle products, and that's not unusual for a new entrant into the tourism industry. You know, they want to put that flagpole up, they want to make sure that everyone realises where those projects are and the brands that are associated with it. But the reality is they'll open and they'll give a halo effect to Saudi, I suppose, tourism, which is great, fantastic. It's been done before and it's been very successful. The reality is the number one priority for most countries is to get numbers through the door, basically.
Yes.
So, you know, if you look at premium mid-scale economy, that's 90% of the population of the world. So you need that market.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you walk through. I mean, everyone likes to talk about premium luxury, as I do. I love staying there. I love watching it being built.
Yeah.
But the reality is, the majority of hotels in the world are in that premium mid-scale economy, and that's where the masses go, and that's what numbers you need. So.
And Saudi needs hotel rooms,
absolutely,
right? That's what they need.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I agree with their strategy absolutely wholeheartedly. I've seen it work before in minor versions of what Saudi's been doing very quickly with 2030. But you know, the reality is, you know, first of all, you get those economy, mid-scale, and premium built in capital cities, so you get recognition. But you can't put Four Seasons, you can't put Fairmonts, you can't put Orient Expresses in second and third tier locations. They just don't add up. So that's where we come into play. You know, if you want to get people travelling, if you want to get them out of the main regions and experience the true Saudi, you need to have an offering there that's appropriate for, you know, 90% of that travelling population. So that's where we come in. That's been our story with Saudi for years now. We've been there, we've had an office there for 15 years. We've been there for over 30. So, you know, we've been watching it grow. We've been growing with it. Obviously, the acceleration is fantastic and exciting. But, you know, we're sort of sensible about what we can do and how we can add value there, particularly with our brands, as we try and expand with that with the vision of 2030. You know, not just focusing on the giga projects, which are absolutely wonderful, but the reality is, you know, we need beds and we need rooms in other locations to drive the business elsewhere.
Yeah, and that's what's interesting about Saudi. There are so many unknown places still. I just did a show in Asir, which is a beautiful green part of Saudi, very mountainous. But again, you need the hotel rooms to be able to accommodate as many people who will want to go, because it's a beautiful part of the world.
And I had an inquiry from a gentleman exactly doing that from Asir today.
Really?
I was sitting down with him before. He wants to build a banyan tree there, and you know, it sounds like it's a perfect location for a banyan tree.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I can see, I've just come from banyan tree AlUla, which was just a
unbelievable.
Phenomenal experience. Love that hotel. Love that swimming pool.
Amazing. Swimming pools, they're everywhere.
But well, the private pools with all of the villas are lovely, but the pool between the two rock faces, that's just the best pool in the world. I can't think of a comparable
super
pool
unique
to that.
Super
it's amazing.
Unique. And that whole location though is a great example of what we're talking about. You know, the AlUla in itself is a 2, 3, 4 day experience just to go around and see the history and understand the history and the uniqueness of that location. And then you've also got a few days to relax in, you know, complete serene locations, probably the best blue skies I've ever seen in my life, and I look at the sky quite a lot. No, but you notice those sort of things, you know, the migratory birds, the vastness, but the beauty of that place is quite moving, I found it. It sounds like you had the same experience.
Will there be mid-scale properties there? Is that an area that's part of the pipeline?
Sure, absolutely, and downtown they're certainly driving to deliver that. We actually run the Shadden Hotel, which is one of the three, Banyan Tree and Habitas and then us. So we're already there as far as a premium product's concerned. So yes, and it lends itself perfectly to that. So you know, you can have the really AlUla experience where you're out in the mountains and having that Banyan Tree and Shadden experience, or you can have the more city, which is still very localized and feels very, you know, part of the trail that it used to be on with the Spice Road and you know, all that history sits with you there. So you've got a great choice
and I love the Old Town, so that downtown and Old Town, because I'd only seen AlUla on social media posts, which obviously focus on the beautiful mountains and rock formations, but to see that actual active part of community I'd love to stay in that part of town
Absolutely.
as well, like, and have that variety. Maybe do a twin stay, some time out of Banyan Tree, and then some time actually in the downtown, so you can explore straight on the doorstep. You've got the old town, lovely cafes. It's very atmospheric. So
Absolutely,
I think that is what we need across the country, to have more hotels. So thank you for contributing to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So thank you so much for sharing your journey with us.
Yes.
We are looking forward to seeing all the hotels open, and we'll be talking to you again, catching up soon to find out more.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much,
Okay,
Paul. Thank
bye.
you.